Now, it is not a secret. We've seen it time and again that the GOP is trying to stifle voter turnout across the country, especially when it comes to voters that are most likely to go to the polls and vote for us. But we're not going to let that go unchallenged. We can't and we won't let that go unchallenged. And this is not going to be a program that we recreate every year and just stand up as Election Day approaches. This will be a permanent infrastructure at the DNC. It's going to be part of our DNA as a national party committee. But for this program to work, we're going to need DMO members to be our eyes and ears, working with citizens to report on what's happening where the voting occurs at the local level. You've got to report back to us. You have to let us know what challenges are being thrown in voters' path so that we can make sure that we fight hard and revise our voter expansion project and our voter protection effort to stop it. Second, during the DNC meeting, we introduced Project Ivy, the next generation of our data and technology infrastructure. Project Ivy is the central hub of innovation for the Democratic Party in 2014 and beyond. The Obama campaign and the DNC's technological investments and innovations of 2008 and 2012 set the gold standard for modern data-driven campaigns. But those advancements didn't happen in a vacuum, and they didn't disappear in November of 2012. They happened on top of the work the DNC has done for a decade. They happened because the technologies we invested in, that we built and that we integrated, reflect our core democratic values. And notice I keep coming back to our core democratic values, because everything we do derives from what we believe in, that we're better with more inclusion and more participation. The other side focuses on the opposite. Going forward, this technology and data will be available to our state parties, to our friends at the other Democratic Party committees, and to individual campaigns. By working through state parties, municipal candidates can gain access to Vote Builder, which contains the wealth of information on the electorate that we have and that we've built. You'll have tools to run campaigns and training materials for your staff and volunteers. So when you make phone calls and knock on doors, you're ready to make the most of their time. You can innovate and use these resources in a way that works for you, that works for your candidates and your races. And those innovations will only strengthen the program. And we'll provide our expertise at the DNC to back them up. Now ask the Democratic Party, when you go home in your state, to become an active partner in Project Ivy. Most of them already are, but there are obviously varying degrees of participation. This is a two-way street. The Project Ivy program will be stronger when we swap information and data, when we work together, and when we use the innovation that we build off of to make the program stronger. And we're going to do that so that we can get the data and the tools that we need to support races of every size and shape. Third, last week we formally launched our Factivists program. That's a new rapid response operation that will engage our grassroots, make sure that we can get our supporters to help back us up, to hold Republicans accountable, and defend the Democratic brand. Whether it's defining the national Republican brand or working with state party communications teams at the local level to define their GOP counterparts, the DNC will hold them responsible for their actions. We're going to make sure that their candidates understand that we are going to fight fire with fire. But that's not enough. One thing that has always been important to me is that the DNC is not just seen as an operation that tears down the other guys. People get really tired of that. You know, I can't tell you how many times, and I represent a pretty blue district, but when I go home, you know, I'm standing in front of a lot of my constituents who just are ready to throw their hands up and say, Debbie, you know, I'm sick of all of you. Really. And we have to be the party that lifts the process up, that makes people believe that democracy, our brand of democracy, as Democrats define it, can help make their lives better. That government can be a part of the solution to people's problems and isn't all of the problem, as our friends on the other side of the aisle believe. So we've got to build them up, and we've got to promote and defend the Democratic Party every single day. As Democrats elected in the cities, you're part of our brand, and we welcome your participation. I know it doesn't always feel like it, but I'm here to tell you that we welcome your participation. We're a grassroots party. We're a bottom-up party. That's what we've always been. The other side is top-down, we're bottom-up. And we're going to be stronger the more engaged and the more involved you are. This is a team effort. So starting this year, the DNC will deputize our supporters as Factivists. Modeled after the highly effective Obama campaign Truth Team, Democratic Factivists will sign up to hold Republican leaders accountable and refute bogus attacks and downright lies against our president, against our leaders, and against our candidates. And finally, we know that our strength as a national party is contingent on the strength of our state party organizations. Those are vital to our organization, and we want to make sure that at the city and county level, our Democratic Party organizations have the strength they need as well. A year ago, we made a decision at the DNC to increase investment in the Association of State Democratic Chairs. That's an organization of all of our state parties. The goal was to create a nationwide training program. And a year later, these trainings have already benefited more than 1,000 staff and volunteers, with more to come in 2014 and beyond. And that includes weekly webinars, access to a library of best practices, regional trainings to link state parties with one another, and data and technology trainings that ensure all staff on the ground have the know-how to use the tools we provide. Because we all have varying degrees of sophistication when it comes to technology and data, and not to be presumptuous, but obviously, data and technology is a really incredible set of tools, but every campaign has a different access to resources. And down ballot, it's tougher to put those resources into the kind of expensive infrastructure that data and technology represents. And that's why our partnership at the state and local level with you is so critical. So take advantage of it. We really mean it. In the last two presidential elections, we ran circles around the Republicans when it came to our digital and our grassroots advantage, and they are desperate to catch up to us. They really are. It's so funny to watch them. So it really is. I chuckle every time I think about it. In fact, right now, my counterpart, the head of the RNC, talks about how they're developing programs and the gadgets designed to put a Band-Aid over their weaknesses. This stuff takes time. This is not something that you can just invest in, flip a light switch on, and suddenly you have this massive data and technology infrastructure. Just like when you're building a grassroots campaign, it requires work to recruit the volunteers, to put them out there in the neighborhoods, to knock on the doors, and to use technology to exponentially increase your reach. I know when I knocked on 25,000 doors in my first race for the Florida House of Representatives, myself, and 21 years ago, we didn't have the benefit of technology to be able to enhance that reach. It was reached with my shoe leather and very little money. But it took work to make sure that I could have the time and the plan to be able to reach all those voters. Now it takes that same work and an investment to be able to reach all those voters. And it's not just something that happens overnight because you start saying the words data and technology and Silicon Valley, which is what the other side seems to be doing recently. So our programs and our tools will amplify our strengths, will empower our grassroots, and include the best ideas that our party has to offer. Those are the values and the principles that have driven our party in the past, and they're going to be what ensures our victories in 2014 and on into the future. And as all of you in this room know, there are no off-year elections for us, especially at the local level, and especially not in the current political environment. But by the same token, there are no small campaigns. Anytime a Democrat and a Republican face off for any office on the federal, state, or local level, that's an opportunity for us to show voters why we're different. We can show them that we're more engaged and more attuned to their values and the policies and issues that matter the most to them. But we couldn't do any of this without your support and without your partnership. So thank you, DMO, for building a democratic future, for investing in tomorrow's national leadership, and for being the crucible where we create solutions for our nation's challenges. You're an important part, an important link in the democratic chain, in the democratic family, and we couldn't do this work without you. So thank you so much. On to more democratic victories in 2014 and beyond. I look forward to this incredible partnership that we have. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
She's actually got a little bit of time to take a few questions. We have a microphone right here in the middle, so if you would come and stand at the microphone, and we're thrilled to have the chair available.
Thank you. Thank you so much. My pleasure. Is anyone awake enough to ask a question? I'm still trying to clear the fog. I didn't have enough caffeine before I walked up here, so. And just let me know who you are and what community you represent.